A respected member of the officiating community, Robert Ruda, passed away at the age of 29 last week. A memorial has been set up in his memory via the link, which you will see right here. We at Soccer Night in Detroit express our condolences to the family at this time. In round one of group play in the Jagermeister Cup, Portland traveled to Trinity Health Stadium to take on the Hartford Athletic. Hartford's Jack Panayiotou scores 2 goals in a victory there, blanking the hopes of the Hearts of Pine. Meanwhile, in Hamtramck, it was Darren Smith late in the contest to overthrow the Pittsburgh Riverhounds at Keyworth. The two teams clash in Portland this afternoon, and we have the preview right here on Soccer Night in Detroit. All right. Recording on a Wednesday, obviously. I won't be, well, obviously, neither of us are going to be in Rhode Island or in Portland, Maine on Saturday. But it is round 2 of the Jagermeister Cup. Detroit City FC taking on Portland.
Oh, so bye. Welcome to Master Peter in the lovely one of Portland with the King and Queen of Maine. We're going to play some fine football on today against Portland House of Pine. And we can't wait for a wonderful masterpiece Sports Theater. Okay, I'm not going to do it like
Alistair Pally-Suvic here, ladies and gentlemen. But yes, Portland Hearts of Pine, the newest team, one of the new teams in USL League One, taking on Detroit City FC. Detroit City FC in their first match in the Jagermeister Cup, 1-0 victory over the Pittsburgh Riverhounds.
Yeah, Darren Smith. Everybody said his name, and everybody believed he'd score. And yes, he scored that header, which was sweet, by the way.
And the play that got developed before that, Yamazaki setting it up for Ben Morris to pass it over to Darren Smith for the header. That was just a work of art.
Oh, that is very much of a work of art. That's when he had the hot start. He scored 9 times, once in the Open Cup, which we are no longer in, once here, and 7 goals. But lately, oh brother,
yeah, and unfortunately, got to go back to that Open Cup match against Chicago Fire.
Yeah,
where he had the own goal. Not really his fault.
Not his fault. Yeah,
it was. The play that happened was. I can't even think of the goal scorer's name. I'll have to go back.
Oh yeah, the second goal scorer.
Yeah, the second. Or the
he
first
scored
goal
from
scorer.
The corner kick.
Yeah,
he was going to
Kuipers.
Yeah, Kuiper.
Yeah, Kuiper's ball.
Yes.
Got it off the corner, had intentions in that. Darren Smith got in the way, next thing you know. But
and it was the beginning of a bad night.
It was a real bad night for Detroit City in the Open Cup. But the Open Cup's done, so we're not going to talk about that anymore. We're not going to
talk about it. The last time he scored, by the way, was back against the Indy 11, which had a 2-0 lead. Unfortunately, we blew that lead thanks to Elvis Amos, who recently scored. He now a Triple Crown quarter, Open Cup, Yankee Cup, League Cup, all this competition he scored. 1 of 14 during the competition.
Now, this is becoming an issue of Detroit City.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that we have gotten to the point where they have not been able to hold leads at this point.
Oh, yeah.
That has become a distinct problem.
Yeah.
Okay. You take a look. Right. Okay, we'll go back to that Indy 11 game.
All right.
Up 2-0. Mm-hmm. Drop 2 goals after that. Mm-hmm. Up 1-0 against Birmingham Legion.
You're right.
You drop a goal in the 80 plus minutes on that one.
On a set piece, yeah.
On a set piece on that one. And then last week against Charleston Battery, you had the 1-0 lead early.
And we were good until
Cal Jennings got his brace.
They let him got hot.
3 matches in which
Ugh.
Detroit City has dropped points. And
Brother.
the question is right now, now 2 of those games, Stephen Carroll was a factor in both of those games.
You're right.
Well, or 2 of those last 4 games.
Yeah,
The last 2 games, Stephen Carroll did not play against Hartford Athletic. That was a 0-0 draw. Can't really fault anybody for that because
and he was a sub in the game against Charlottesville Battery.
Yes, he was a sub in that game. Now that second goal by Jennings.
Oh yeah.
Was and we
another defensive lap, just like when we had a defensive lap that allowed Alvadamo to score
a defensive lapse by Michael Bryant.
You're right, yeah.
Was the result on that
He's really good stopping that, but he was caught off guard. Jennings found.
I think he was out. I personally thought he was out of position in that play. Nonetheless,
and he had a barrel roll at the end, Jennings. Yeah.
But nonetheless, it was just like I said, a very disappointing, disappointing result, obviously, on Saturday there. But now, I mean, it's not championship. I mean, it's not championship week. Obviously, it's now. We're talking Jagermeister Cup here. But the problems of the defense as of late they are out there.
You're right.
What do you think Detroit City needs to do as far as the defense? On the defensive end of the field to stop giving up these
I don't know.
Leads.
It's just like, considering I mentioned Elvis Ammo and Cal Jennings, I mean, they were
besides those guys going off.
Yeah, you're right.
Is it a matter of switching up some players?
Probably switching up some players, maybe. You have some players not familiar with their positions and all that. And usually, historically, we have been very good on defense, but oh my, it just
a lot of it has to do with some changes here. We brought in Shane Wheat,
yes,
a pretty solid defender. Yeah. We brought him in. There hasn't been really a combination. No. Let's just say a good. His play in the first couple games, obviously against Miami, obviously, the play and Colorado, the play in his first couple games, outstanding.
Oh yeah.
As far as him being used in the lineup, though, are they tinkering too much? You think?
You could say a little bit, not much, but a little bit. You have to make sure you're on your assignments. It's just
And the one consistent, I think, in that defensive 4 has been Michael Bryant.
Yeah, right.
As of late, I mean, do you think that Danny Dico's got to change it up a little bit?
Change it up a little bit,
and get players like Alex Villanueva has been playing great.
Yeah, he's been really good. Yeah,
as far as and Devin Amumensa, obviously,
recently played his 100th game with City.
Yep. Still stellar on the back end as well. Basically, showing off his all USL team skills right there as far as that goes. So he's been doing well as far as that.
I know.
But with Stephen Carroll not in the lineup, fully for 2 games straight.
Do you think he's injured or something like that? Or
I don't know what was. I don't think. No, he wasn't injured. He did come in. He did come in the match. I believe it was the 62nd minute on Saturday against Charleston. The defense got a little bit more, let's just say, more in gear, more in sync, and all that stuff. Do you think having Stephen Carroll on that back line means so much to this club?
Yeah, Stephen Carroll has been a Star Wars captain for this club for literally forever. Literally, and you
200 plus matches with the club.
Wow, all-time record, by the way. Could be the first 250 signed until the new stadium.
Yeah,
the new stadium at 28 in Michigan or 28 in Michigan.
Yeah, but Stephen Carroll has been like the anchor of this. Mm-hmm. No matter how many iterations of Detroit City football, whether it be an MPSL, Members Cup, NISA, USL Championship, he's been a stalwart of this team. He's been the anchor of this team, and I think it showed a little bit on Saturday, not having him, be like the quarterback and all, be like a quarterback on the back line, especially playing against a player like Cal Jennings.
I know,
and defending,
he's way too good.
defending, I'm not gonna discredit the kick by Torres.
No.
Torres, that was a banger from outside the
tell
box.
me about,
That was a banger from outside the box. But enough dwelling on that last game.
Well,
let's move.
Before I go to Portland, right? Do you think the teams that are playing Detroit today have figured Darren Smith out, considering he hasn't scored in the last 3 games?
Teams do use tape. And I'm thinking what's going on as far as Darren Smith goes. You know, it might be a lot of, you know, and I'll owe this to Ben Pierman.
Okay.
Ben Pierman's one of the better coaches in the USL Championship. One of the best coaches in the USL Championships. He obviously had to see this is the guy we got to contain. This is the guy that's been scoring goals for them. We got to find a way to contain him in order to have success. And I think a lot of those teams are starting to do that now. So whether he has, whether Darren's got to adjust his game a little bit to make himself more effective, or if Danny Dico has to change a tactic a little bit to get him to be more effective, that we shall see. Good chance to do that against a team, though.
Yes, brand new team in League One in the League Cup. Portland Hotspur playing in.
They just won their last match. That they
League One game, right?
Yeah, or actually, their last match. No, they did draw. They drew against Forward Madison.
Right.
They did win against SC Naples, I believe. Yeah, that's what it looks like.
It's located in the other Portland, Maine, not Portland, Oregon. It was first down.
Their form as of late, though, has been the last 4 games they've had 3 draws and 1 win. So they're currently right now in the League One, Portland.
Portland is. Let me look at the.
Yeah, we're looking at the.
Portland is in. This is the Jagermeister Cup. They're in 11th place.
Yep, they're one above. Yeah, they're one above South Georgia Tormenta.
And they haven't scored a lot of goals. 7 goals. They have given up 7 goals. So they're sort of like even Steven, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's no good leader of Portland right now. Let me see if I could.
They're not like. Let's just say they're not like Lexington signing all these players and all that stuff.
Yeah.
In fact, one thing, brief mention here: Cameron Lancaster was with Lexington. Guess who he's with now?
Portland Hearts of Pine.
No. Louisville
City.
Yep. Right. Apparently, there's been an issue with Philip Goodrum as far as that goes, and Lou City reached out, and guess who's on loan to Lou City? Thanks to Lexington. Enough about that one.
Enough about that one.
But they're so far. I mean, there's
no link.
So far
there are 7 individuals goal tire. One player, according to the ratings from Photo Mob, is Nathan Mepper. He's one of the stars next to Oliver White and Titus Washington.
Mm-hmm. And Portland right now currently in USL League One, 7 games played, 1-5-1 is their so 5 draws, a lot of draws. They've had the 1 loss so far in the league thus far. But as far as Jagermeister, we just had breaking news. We'll talk about that. Okay. Actually, we are recording
on Wednesday.
On Wednesday, so we'll be talking about that. That was on Wednesday. Yeah, so we were recording for Saturday and Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so scratch that part. Anywho, let's go back to the matchup here.
Yes.
Right now in Group 4, Portland Hearts Pine sitting in the 5th spot ahead of Westchester SC.
They lost their first game against, I think, Rhode Island FC. Was it? Oh shoot.
Yeah.
Okay.
A goal. Sorry. Yeah, the first matchup against was a 2-0 loss to Hartford.
Sorry, wrong team. I was thinking of the other team. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But that was their first loss. So it was that was the first loss, a 2-0 loss to Hartford Athletic in the competition. That was the Jack Panayoyu Jack Panayoyu.
Yes.
That was the Jack Panayoyu game in which he got 2 goals and a red card.
Yes, you're right. I remember that, the DGO double. I got the standings on my. And this is game 2. This is breakaway game because unlike the World Cup, you have an extra game. This is going to be a moving game. Win your second game. You're probably on a good footing.
Yes, it is definitely moving week here because now you look at the top of the group is Rhode Island
Which
with
beat Westchester FC 4-0 in their first
yep.
round game.
So they obviously or 4-1 in their first game. They have a 3-goal differential. Hartford has a 2-goal differential. Detroit City with 1-goal differential.
You're right.
Important to pick up this victory here.
Oh yeah.
Very important.
Very important because, like I said, when you're in good shape, draw. Yeah, you have to understand the division winners and the 2 wild cards.
But you don't draw in this tournament in this competition.
But we forgot. They go to a shootout. 2 points for a victory, 1 point for a draw.
Yep, and that's very important because you lose a point if you draw. Regardless, you'll lose a point if you draw. You gain a point if you get the loss.
I forgot about that.
So that's important there. The matter is Detroit City got to get it done in 90 minutes in order to get those 3 points to stay up on that top half.
Right.
And that would help further on down the road because the next opponent for Detroit City in this competition is Hartford Athletic, who they recently had a 0-0 draw at Trinity Health Park.
Yes, we faced them in league play, and it was not easy, must I say.
And
you're going to have to go back to get the win. But hey, you don't want to lose in a shootout. That's 1 point. You have to get the bonus point.
No. And I mean the goals, and goals scored is one of the tiebreakers in this competition as well. So, as far as that goes, you're looking at possibly a top of the table clash. Going into round 3 of this.
You're right.
This group stage.
Yeah, that will be in June, late June against Hartford Athletic at FC. Oh yes, June 28th. Yep. So that will probably be the key game of that one.
Yeah, and I think that's our last home women's game. Then
you're right.
That's what we're playing Kalamazoo FC in that one. But but like I said, cheers to hoping that we get out of this goal scoring funk here.
I know. And since this is the Jagermeister Cup, a different competition from the League Cup, I drink a blueberry lemonade, one of the many juices, non-carbonated juices from the official sponsor of the team. Hey, go. Cheers.
Yes, some lemonade, blueberry lemonade. Tastes pretty good, actually. But nonetheless, I mean, it's just a matter. Hartford, or like I said, Hartford and Rhode Island, the big wins there in their first match. All 6 teams are playing on Saturday.
Hartford Athletic is facing on Westchester FC. By the way, they're the only team not facing on Portland Hartford side. It's all USL teams.
Yes.
If they want to get the jiggy stuff. Jiggy stuff. It's sort of like the Cup got in the U.S. Open Cup. It's the Jagermeister Cup, meaning a League One team upset a championship.
So Hartford, I believe, is playing Westchester.
Yes, I mentioned that before. Yeah.
And then we got the big one.
Yes.
And it's a big battle here.
Rhode Island against Pittsburgh Riverhounds.
Yes. That's a big battle there, especially against, with those 2 teams being involved. Pittsburgh's having their struggles in the league.
Right.
Same with Rhode Island so far this year. They've been hovering around that bottom half of the table.
And they already faced off them once in the USLC, a 1-0 victory over Rhode Island in league play.
Yep.
So who knows? We may have a revenge. Who knows? It could go to the dreaded shootout, or the winner get an extra point.
Yeah, it could. It could most certainly go that way, and you got to think that's gonna be the match of the weekend.
Oh yeah,
a lot of people. The big thing about this match.
What is about the big thing about?
They sold this place out in Portland.
Oh my God! Because they love their team in Portland. It's been announced. It was first announced, and man, if taking a cult like that, it's in Portland, just like us. And
I think it took a cult-like status when they introduced the team and the logo last year.
Oh, yes. And by the way, here's the logo. I don't know if you can see it. It's a beautiful logo. Some of the commentators loved it. It's Heart Sun over Portland with trees and all that, and the hard to buy. Remember, they have a great lumber industry in Maine.
Absolutely.
There's mostly a lot of trees in Maine, except for the two big cities of Portland, Maine, and Lewiston, Maine.
Yeah.
And I mentioned
Lewiston, Maine, this last week, the infamous photo
yes,
of Muhammad Ali
Yes.
standing over Sonny Liston.
yes, in the greatest punch ever thrown.
Or was it?
I know.
But it was probably one of the greatest sports photos of all
You're
time.
right. It is celebrated still to this day, almost 60 years. And it will be there for 100 years. Either both men have long since gone. And I'll say this right now. Do you think he punched him? I would say sort of.
Only the mafia would know on that one. I'll say that. I'll say that.
You know what? That were the famous phrase "taking a dive." I think was invented in that fight. True, and we have seen.
And then we see players taking dives all the time in the game.
Soccer, a little bit of football. They don't do diving in baseball. Thank God for that.
Unless it's a nice diving catch by one Javier Baez.
Probably so. Or yes, possibly hockey where they said, "Oh, I trip. Give me a ball. Give me a 2-minute blower play." Like yeah.
I don't think you see much diving. They hit hard it.
But like I said, in the 60 years since that fight, taking a dive have taken a whole new meaning. A lot.
Yes, in any sport,
right? Especially soccer, which we say your city dive team. Literally. Thank you very much.
Yes. Oh man, but nonetheless, so going back to that, but like I said, Portland, like I said, they're drawing. Yes. It's a good story to see there.
Right. In USL 1.
Yeah, in USL 1, and it shows the fact that a community can build a club.
Oh yeah.
And kind of like what we do. I mean, what we do here. Community has built this club. Community is definitely building that club out in Portland.
That's what's much important. Community, unlike the utter league, which rely on billions and billions. But yeah,
and a superstar, and then next thing you know, that superstar travels the league and then sells out every joint.
But that's a little bit different. It is about community, about why we like this game.
Yeah.
It's about committee. We join either here or at the new stadium in a couple of years.
Tech.
Yeah. This is what committee built. Committee could build a team and build bridges and get recognized and
what the sport is actually supposed to be about when you think about that. I mean, a lot of soccer was built on the community.
Yes.
And needless to say, I mean, that's a huge aspect of it here.
I'm glad to be part of that community. I know you joined late, but I'm glad that you're part of the community.
Well, thank you. Yes, I mean, he's been here since day one. I've been here pretty much for the professional years, so I mean,
you're right.
Which is good to see, and it was a curiosity for me, seeing you guys march down Michigan Avenue during the St. Patty's Day parade. It was like curiosity. It was like, I gotta see this team. Next thing I know, I go to a match facing Michigan Stars. Next thing you know, and here I am covering you guys.
It's sort of like making up by my own opportunity because I didn't go to the games of the Detroit Express over at the Pontiac Silverdome.
I never went to a competitive soccer match in my lifetime until I came here. I mean, I've watched it on TV, but until I saw them play and I saw the crowd, saw the Northern Guard. So like first half I spent on the family side. The second half I went to the Northern Guard. Totally mind-blowing experience. Totally life-changing experience.
It is. It is a totally life-changing period with the smoke and all that. It's just, something.
Just fun to see there. Yeah. All right, it's come down to the time.
The predictions.
Yes, the predictions.
Okay.
And
I think we're not doing too long, but we're almost there.
Yeah. So like I said, this is a game in which Detroit City needs to get their act together, shall we say?
Right, yeah.
They need to get the wheels back on track, and this is a good opportunity to do so.
Yeah.
Do you agree upon that?
I agree. I think it's going to be a good straight up 3-0 victory. You know what I mean? I think Portland lacked a scoring power during their League One season. That's going to be a factor. So I hope they do 3-0, but I'm not sure. but if one goal is a different, like we saw last time. So I'm going to say 3-0.
3-0. Detroit needs to get back on track, and I think they can get back onto the defensive track of things. I think you're going to see a different lineup, so to speak, as far as that goes.
Because we played a league game last week, so change up the lineup. And then without now the U.S. Open Cup, since we got eliminated, it's probably much more easier.
Much more easier there.
Focus on the week, not the
focus
midweek
on the week
game.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm thinking here, if Detroit City gets back on track, it can't be a 1-0 victory. It can't be a 1-0 victory. They got to get some goals scoring. I'm going to go right along that lines there. They need a 3-0 victory. They need a game like this. I really think they do, because, in order to get get the positive mentality back, get the flow going again, they need to, shall we say, spike it up just a little bit.
Yeah, spike it up a little bit. Yeah,
spike it up a little bit, and let's just go from there. And like I said, we shall see. We shall see what happens. I'm going to say 3-0 too. Okay. Darren Smith does get back on track.
Yeah, he got to get it back on track.
Get the competition. Get a couple more. Get the feelers out. Ben Morris hasn't really been a factor too much.
He's been invisible this season. He scored a goal this year and nothing much.
Yeah,
what
nothing
happened
much.
to that late scoring surge? That was last year when he scored 2 to have the first double-digit shorter next to ex-City player Maxi Rodriguez.
Exactly. So,
you're right.
Needless to say, this is how we got to roll here. So, I mean, I'm gonna go 3-0 as well. As far as the third goal scorer goes, I'm gonna say, let's throw it up in the air. Doof.
We haven't seen much.
We haven't seen much of him, and I think the lineup's gonna show vindictive of that. So, we'll just say that. So, but anyway, like I said, where can you see this game?
Yes, where you could see the game. You could see the game on CW Detroit 50. That will begin at 5 o'clock. The men's game at 5 o'clock. CW Detroit 50.
Nice appetizer before the women's game.
You're right. After the women's game, I'm going to be here on Saturday. You're going to be CW Detroit 50. Then on the web at cbsdetroit.com. You're on desktop or mobile browser. And on the CBS News app, just press local. You're local on the bottom or local. Just press CBS Detroit, not CBS Dallas, not CBS Boston or CBS Pittsburgh. CBSDetroit.com. That's WWJ Channel 62. Scroll down to the support section and press Watch Live, and you're there. And it's also going to be on ESPN Plus. Don't forget.
Yes, ESPN Plus for all your Jagermeister Cup action as well.
You're going to be doing soccer night, Saturday night.
After hours will be from the Hacienda, and we'll have that. We'll have that popped up Sunday morning.
And by the way, I'll be reporting for the women's game on Saturday as well.
That's right, because we got 2 matches today. Two matches. We already previewed the other one for soccer night for on Wednesday. We already it is Wednesday right now, but we already recorded that one. So a preview of both of those matches is on YouTube as well. Just go to Soccer Night in Detroit. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share the videos.
Yes, please share. We need to share, and please subscribe. Yes.
Help you. Like those videos. Like those. That helps the algorithm.
And by the way, ring the bell so you'll be notified about a new soccer night every time we do one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So
let's wrap it up.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up, and I will talk to you Sunday morning after hours. We got 2 matches to go over, and highlights and all that fun stuff galore. So until we meet again, folks, keep your feet in the ground. Keep reaching for the galaxy.